Good morning, everyone. How is everyone feeling today? Right now, I think everyone is muted. I hope everyone is healthy and safe and watching this from their homes. We'll get started in a few minutes when it actually is at 10 o'clock. We have about 3 minutes, Keith. So. Okay, ready, Keith?
I am ready to go.
Yep. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. As we deal with the coronavirus, we are feeling fears of uncertainty, overwhelm, and anxiety. The Dela Cruz Law Firm wants to let our seniors know that we are here to be a resource for you. We want to reduce any anxiety or fear you may be feeling. As we navigate this crisis together, we are committed to bringing you important and relevant information with a webinar series on topics that impact you. One of the major concerns that I've heard from my clients during this time has been an issue of healthcare, specifically losing their healthcare coverage. Unfortunately, the reality is that the pandemic will result in a higher unemployment rate. What this may mean for seniors is that they may be losing their jobs. This webinar is designed to educate you on your Medicare options if you do face this challenge. We will also address the concerns of individuals who are turning 65 this year. This webinar will help educate you about the process of enrolling for Medicare. Stay connected with us over the next few weeks as we will be providing additional purposeful topics to help you through these trying times. Future webinars will cover estate planning and advanced healthcare directives. My good friend Keith Knabb and I discussed ways that we could bring important information to our clients and to alleviate any stress or anxiety you may be feeling. The result of that conversation was this important webinar. Keith has always been a great resource for me. He's always provided insightful and useful information to my clients through seminars at my church or at the Atlanta Bar Association. Thank you, Keith, so much for providing this information today. From a purely logistical standpoint, there will be a question and answer period after Keith's presentation. Currently, everybody is muted now. Please raise your hands in the chat box, or you can type out your question. We'll be taking questions and answers after Keith's presentation. We are also recording this presentation if you want to share it with your friends, family, or your network. Please feel free to contact us during this time. Keith and I want to be a resource for you. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you very much, Cherish. It's a good time to have this conversation. My office is already getting phone calls. So for those of you who do not know who Affordable Medicare Solutions is, we're the largest Medicare planning agency in Georgia, and I have myself and 8 employees. We are all teleworking now during this time period because we started planning 6 weeks ago. We knew something was afoot, and we decided that we had to make sure that we were prepared to handle our 5,000 clients and all the new clients that will be coming in during this time period. So our job is to reduce anxiety. Our job is to help people to understand that these things are a process. They're not a snap. And this is what the presentation today is about, is that we will manage that process for the client, with the client, for free. There are no charges for our services. And we're fully capable of handling many extra clients right now. We've already had 2 or 3 just in the last 2 days are calling us about this exact topic that we're going to go over today. So our topic is what you need to know about turning 65, and also what do you need to know about when you're losing employer coverage. So the first thing is that no matter what's going on in the world, we're still going to have people aging into Medicare, which means that they're turning 65 and naturally becoming eligible for Medicare on the first day of the month that they turn 65. The second thing that's happening right now is the tragedy of the unemployment rate is going to go up quite a bit, and as you and I would expect, the older, more expensive employees are the easier ones to let go. They can activate their Social Security, they can activate their Medicare. They're not going to be left out, in the cold. The employers know those people have a safety net, so they are going to be losing their employer coverage. And those employees and those HR departments don't know how to activate Part A and Part B of Medicare, the hospital and outpatient portion of Medicare, properly. And then we, as an agency, Affordable Medicare Solutions, handle then the next steps to complete the final enrollments into their Medicare programs. So let's go to the first topic. You can go forward, Cherish. If someone is naturally aging into Medicare, they would have a natural enrollment period of 7 months, and they don't need to use the full 7 months. They just typically want to do it 3 months before their months that they turn 65. Medicare allows that. So if someone is turning 65 in July, they would have April, May, and June to sign up for their Medicare and have it start on July 1, for example. So the important thing, though, if you look at the screen, it says that Medigap programs, which are insurance policies that work with original Medicare, are available with no pre-existing conditions. They are guaranteed to be issued to the person, so it's not an application. It is an enrollment, and there will be low or no deductibles depending on the age of the person. And we will then pair that Medigap insurance policy with a prescription drug plan called Part D. We find that at Medicare.gov, and we take care of it for the client. And these Medigap insurance programs are available at any point in the year, but especially when someone is losing employer coverage. It is a guarantee moment at that time. Now, Medicare Advantage on the right-hand side is the new side of Medicare with about 24 million seniors participating. The main types you may have heard about are the HMOs and PPOs. Our clients, if they access Medicare Advantage, do utilize the PPO option, which means they still have the flexibility of using all Medicare doctors. And there are other types of these Advantage programs. There are no network plans called PFFS. There are SMP or special needs programs. And there is one MSA, which is a Medicare savings account, much like a health savings account program. But the primary ones are the HMOs and PPOs. And these products are where you've probably seen the advertisements with Joe Namath on TV talking about get your extra Medicare benefits. This is where Medicare is adding a lot of extra money for dental, vision, potential transportation benefits, potential hearing aid credits, meal delivery to the home, and over-the-counter medical items delivered to the beneficiary's home to help them with things such as vitamins, sunscreen, and other medical items. These programs also have no pre-existing condition worries except for end-stage renal disease or kidney failure. And these programs can only move during the annual period at the end of the year or during January, February, or March, unless you have an exception such as losing employer coverage or moving to a new home if someone is moving and changing counties. So let's talk about the next page. Losing employer coverage. If someone is under 65 years old, they won't be qualified for Medicare, so we will either advise them to use COBRA from the employer if available, or we can utilize the Affordable Care Act HMO plans in Atlanta and activate those due to the loss of employer coverage. Now, with the Affordable Care Act plans, they can be more affordable if someone has lower income, but in general, the COBRA plans have been more affordable. It's been a phenomenon due to the increasing cost of the Affordable Care Act plans. Now, if somebody's already over 65, and we've had a lot of people that are working till 67 or 70 years old, and they're delaying taking their Social Security, they're enjoying work. Well, those people are going to need to activate their Medicare if they have not already. So if they're over 65, losing the employer coverage will create a special election period and a special ability, a special right to activate their Medicare at that odd time that's not tied to their birthday. Let's go over how to do that. So in order to activate full Medicare, the first thing a person should do is create a personal login at Social Security's website. That is ssa.gov. Now, if you have your credit locked, they won't let you do it because they have to do identity verification and they use one of the credit bureaus as a contractor. So if you do have your credit locked, like I do, you would want to go do a temporary, maybe a 48-hour unlock, and then that way Social Security can verify your identity. This is the simplest way to create your personal login. Now, once you do that, you can go into the Social Security website and you can request for your Medicare to start. However, if you are over 65 and working, you can't do it that way because they need proof that you're losing your employer health coverage. So there's a form that we have called the Employer Verification Form. You'll have it filled out by your Human Resource Department or just your supervisor at work. And you would usually take that form to the Social Security office. However, they're not taking in-person appointments since March 17th due to the coronavirus. Now, you could also mail this form in, but that's not advised. Who knows how long the mail might be held up or lost in the belly of the beast. So I would advise you call Social Security, see if they do have a drop-off process or a fax-in process at your local office. This is important. They are creating those protocols right now and have not advised us exactly how they're going to handle that. It's so fast that this has happened. So they are accepting appointments by phone, and they will let you work with the local Social Security office, just not in person. So let's look at that form. Can you go to the next page there? Thank you. Well, let's first look at Social Security's website. So the Social Security's website, if you see in the top right corner, it says sign in or up. And also below there, it says Medicare enrollment. And in the bottom left corner, it says My Social Security. That's what you're actually going to have, is a My Social Security account. And in there, you can see your Social Security income projections, or how much they're going to pay you each month. If you take Social Security early, how much that'll cost you to take it early. If you're taking it in a delayed fashion, how much extra you're receiving to get your Social Security. Also, you can do this for your spouse too. Let's go to the next page, please. This is the employer verification form. So this form has, in the bottom left corner, it says signature of company official and title of company official. Now, I've never heard of these forms ever even being audited, so just get somebody to sign this form and get the employer to fill out when your dates of your group health plan occurred and when they're ending. At the top of the form is your normal information, just your name and address and Social Security number and those things. But the big important part is to get the company official to sign those and keep copies of everything. Do not send your only copy off to Social Security. Keep copies of everything in case they do lose it, or in case I need the form to prove to the insurance companies also that you have lost employer coverage. And we store this digitally in our files for our clients. Next page, please. So now once you're doing that, this is obtaining your Medicare Part A for hospital and Part B for medical outpatient coverage under Medicare. It has two key parts. Part A is free to most people, and Part B does have a premium. And the monthly premium currently is $144.60 per month. Now, if you're in your initial enrollment period, which means you're just about to turn 65, and you're already receiving your Social Security check or a railroad retirement check, you're going to get a Medicare card automatically. You don't have to sign up. It just shows up in your mailbox. But most people today have delayed taking their Social Security, so this is not happening. So if they're not receiving benefits, they need to actually do this where they go to sign up for Medicare through the Social Security website. So go back to that website, or if you're having any struggles there, you can call Social Security. I had a client yesterday afternoon call Social Security. He said he was on hold for 2.5 hours. So the best time to call Social Security is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time before the rest of the United States starts calling Social Security. So 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is a good time to call immediately. Now, if you are leaving group health insurance after turning 65 and you're beyond your 7 months surrounding your birthday, you will use this special enrollment period privilege, which means you can sign up for your hospital Part A and your outpatient B anytime while you're still covered by the group plan. You also have a privilege that if you've screwed this up and not done it properly, you have an 8-month period that begins after the employment ends, or your coverage ends, whichever happens first, but try not to use that. That's sort of a fail-safe. The better thing to do is to use the employer verification form to prevent delays and prevent unnecessary penalties. That is more of your get-out-of-jail card. So use your employer verification form and keep copies of it. That should help you. Next page, please. So once you've done that, you can also go to the Medicare website and you can log in or create an account at the Medicare website. So once you receive your Medicare Part A and Part B and your Medicare ID number, you can create an account there. And this is very helpful for Medicare planning. This is something that we help our clients do. If they give us HIPAA and authorization permission to do these things in writing, we do it for our clients. And it's not a hard thing to do. I helped a client yesterday in about 5 minutes create their account. So next page, please. Now, while you're waiting for that Medicare Part A and Part B to be fully awarded, that gives us some breathing room to start doing the Medicare plan reviews. So we can go ahead and help create that Medicare.gov login. We can then also help you to start checking to make sure your current doctors will take you as you go into Medicare. That typically is not a problem around Atlanta if it's your current doctor, But you want to also verify if you are looking at a PPO Medicare plan, are those doctors in network? They don't have to be, but they're going to get a better deal if they're in network. Now, number 4 says check with your dentist. Well, you're not asking your dentist if the dentist takes Medicare. You want to ask the dentist what insurance plans they take, because a lot of times dentists will say, oh, I take all of those insurance plans. Well, that's the wrong question. The right question is, what plans are you a true participating in-network provider for? So if the dentist accepts 100 plans but are only in-network with 3, you want to sign up for an in-network option. That way you'll get your best deal on dental coverage if you do take that. But on top of all of this, you would then also need to schedule your free annual review, because even if I signed up somebody in July, I want to review their plan in October or November to make sure that they're still on the correct option for January of 2021. So typically that's involving their drug coverage, because the drug plans can change quite a bit each year. But we will check the doctors and other circumstances. So that's the next steps. Can we look at the next screen? So once that Part A and Part B are awarded, then we'll take all that Medicare review information, and Affordable Medicare Solutions then will key in the enrollments. Whether you choose Blue Cross, Humana, United Healthcare, we go to their online login. I have special agent logins so that we can track all of these enrollments, make sure there's no snags, and then we're notified. My staff is working the full schedule right now. Every day they go in and are checking the approvals, or if there is more information needed. Let's say the insurance plan says, hey, Keith, I need that employer verification form. Or Keith, the Medicare number doesn't seem to match up. We will then send them a copy of the Medicare card. Sometimes little things happen, and if there's a flood of applications like we think is getting ready to happen, all signs are pointing to that, the insurance companies might get bogged down a little bit. So we'll unclog those problems and we'll take care of it. For an average consumer to fight for those things is a giant headache. And when I have to, I call in my insurance company reps to iron out any wrinkles. And they do help me out a lot. I'm one of the, my agency is one of the top producing agencies in Georgia. They cater to our needs quite a bit. After that, the welcome package from the plans will arrive. It takes about 2 weeks, provided the U.S. mail is running properly. But if it doesn't run properly, we will get temporary ID cards for our clients, and we can send them by email back over to the clients for them to print out. Or if the client does not have a printer, I'll print them and I'll mail them to the client. So it's very important for consumers to not try to do all of this stuff themselves. It seems like it would be easy, and I wish it were easier, but it's not. And we know the ways to smooth this out. And it is better to have a free staff of 9 people on your side than to try to fight through this bureaucracy and this headache on your own. And it's amazing the things that we see, such as that 2.5-hour wait on Social Security yesterday, and now people not having the ability to walk into a Social Security office and talk to someone. So it is crucial, vitally crucial, that they give our office a call. If we can see the next screen, please. This is an example at my website. You can first go, on the top screen it shows that you can go to our buttons at the top of the website. It says education and forms. I know those are hard to see, but you can click on those things and actually pull down all the flyers for education services for all the different topics, which are at the bottom of this screen. But also you can pull down the forms, such as what I need. I need your permissions to do work. I need to know your drug list, the client's doctor list. I need to know if they have a power of attorney. I need to know what their needs are. And so by filling out the forms, they can do them either through online, or we have a really neat new system where it's a text-based thing where we send it to their smartphone. They can just fill it out. Takes them about 5 minutes. They can use their phone's camera to take a picture of their health plan card, their prescription drug pill bottles, their driver's license, and they can just send all that stuff back to us through an incredible text-based smartphone system that is really cool. So I'd love to show that off to any of you if you'd like to see it. Next page, please. So this is what's important. All of our services are free. Our phone number is 770-945-5261. And Cherish you can email to her at admin@delacruz-law.com or call her at 770-637-8813. And there's a couple things we can send to you. We can send this entire presentation. We can send a Medicare checklist, which summarizes what I talked about into a one-page checklist. And also, there are other education flyers that we can send over to help people, such as a 10-page ebook, a digital book on Medicare that I wrote that is very, very handy. So at this point, Cherish, I'm going to turn it back over to you for the question and answer session.
Okay. Thank you, Keith, for that presentation. I think it's very helpful. I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and when we can take control or educate ourselves about next steps, if something were to happen, then it empowers us to move forward. And there is some certainty in taking action in this time. Right now, so Keith, just as a question, is the easiest way to contact you and to start these services, is it just calling the number? And yes. What happens after that?
So when you call the number, Amanda, Wendy, or Crystal will help collect your information and build your file and get you assigned and the process started, get you put into our system. That is immediate. We immediately send you either the text login system, the intake system, or we email it to you. And it can also be done through DocuSign. We have all the technology. Immediately getting that stuff done. I have a gentleman today at 11:30 who needs his Medicare. He's talking to me at 11:30. He needs his Medicare to start on April 1st. And so you talk about getting things done fast. He's going into a fast process, and we're going to get it done. He's going to be covered because his employer coverage ends March 31st. So we're ready. My employees are geared up for this crucial crush of need that's coming.
And so if somebody is losing coverage, Keith, and if they know that they've got an end date, just contact you, is that the best next step?
Yes, and there are so many bad assumptions out there. I have people call me and say, well, I thought you were going to handle all this. Well, Social Security allows me to provide advice, but Social Security doesn't allow me to represent the client to Social Security. So I have to educate the client on how to do this with Social Security, how to do this with Medicare, and then on every level that I can participate, we are doing the work for the client. Unfortunately, because of HIPAA and Privacy Act, we're not allowed to do everything.
Okay, thank you. And a question from one of the attendees. If an employee is in a group plan, what's an employer obligation, if any, when an employee is turning 65, or actions they should not take?
So generally, an employer cannot nudge or push a person into Medicare. So the employers a lot of times really just play hands off and don't really provide any good information. So I do a lot of employee education programs where I'll go and do lunch and learns at employers because I am an arm's length situation away from the employer's liability, where I can tell the clients, you're not required to stay on your employer's plan. You can go into Medicare. Now, if an employer is ending a relationship with an employee where they're laying them off or firing them, the employer basically is just going to give them their COBRA options. And very few employers do any work that I've seen to really help someone go into Medicare unless it's a major corporation like an IBM, an AT&T, a Coca-Cola. They do have some resources, but in general, most employers do not.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you, Keith, for taking the time today. If anybody wants a copy of this presentation or a recording to share with their loved ones, please feel free to reach out to me, admin@delacruz-law.com, or contact us via phone, 770-637-8813. Keith and I are happy to be a resource for you. We want to help you during this turbulent time, and thank you everyone for attending this presentation.